welcome students again into the chemistry class. From last few lectures, we are learning about the green chemistry. We already learned the 12 principles of the green chemistry. Now today, we have to learn the role of green chemistry. What is the main role of this green chemistry? Definitely, the main role of green chemistry is to minimize the hazardous chemicals or to minimize the use of the hazard chemicals, to minimize the manufacturing of the hazardous chemicals which affects the human population, that is living world, the plants and animals also, that is the total environment. Now that is the main theme in the green chemistry. In earlier days, so many chemicals are manufactured or synthesized which are hazards to the earth. But earth have a capacity, to deal these hazardous chemicals and the pollution up to its, that is the some level. But as the capacity of the earth is vanished or it becomes completed, then the life is unsustainable. That means the human life is not there. Now see what are the main, that is the role of the green chemistry. The green chemistry approach, what is the approach of the green chemistry? The green chemistry approach recognizes, that is we recognizes that the earth does have a natural capacity. Earth have a natural capacity for dealing with much of the waste material. Much of the waste material can deal by the earth, that is its natural capacity. And pollution also, that society generates, because nature does not generate the pollution or the hazardous chemicals or the waste material. And it is only when that capacity is exceeded, the capacity of the earth to deal such waste material and pollution get exceeded, when it get exceeded, that we become unsustainable. That means sustainable. That means the life becomes unsustainable. There is no continuity in the life then. If the capacity of the earth, natural capacity of the earth for dealing the pollution and the waste material gets exceeded, that means it becomes maximum, then the life on the earth is unsustainable. Now that is the so the main role of the green chemistry is to stop the unsustainable of the human beings life, or the life becomes sustainable only when we adapt green chemistry. Remember that. Now secondly, to promote the innovative chemical technologies. What is the role of the green chemistry again? To promote or to give, that is the permission for the innovative chemical technologies. Innovative chemical technologies means advanced technologies in which there is the manufacture of such chemicals which are eco-friendly. So to promote the innovative chemical technologies and to reduce or eliminate the use and generation of hazard substances. Now another promotion of this green chemistry is to minimize the use and the synthesis of the hazard substances in designing, manufacture and use of chemical products. So to minimize the use of the hazardous chemical products, to minimize the design of the hazard chemical products, or to minimize the manufacture of the hazardous chemical product, due to which there is the formation of a large amount of waste material or the pollution or hazardous substances. Now next, that is the role of the green chemistry is that the green chemistry help to reduce what? The green chemistry help to reduce capital expenditure. That means maximum expenditure, maximum use. Green chemistry helps to reduce the maximum use of the natural resources. Again, to prevent pollution. That is also the role of the green chemistry, to prevent the pollution and to minimize or to reduce the use of the capital expenditure of the resource, that is the natural resources. The next one is that green chemistry incorporates, that is in that green chemistry what is there? Green chemistry incorporates pollution prevention practices in the manufacture of chemicals. That means in green chemistry there is the prevention of pollution practices in manufacture of chemicals. That is, during the manufacture of chemicals, pollution should not be there. That is in the green chemistry. Also, it promotes pollution prevention. That means we should prevent pollution. Then and then the next generation can sustainable. Their life is sustainable. The next generation life is sustainable if we stop the or prevent the pollution. And industrial ecology also we have to reduce. Uh, this is the main aim or role of the green chemistry, approach of green chemistry. Green chemistry is a new way of looking at chemicals. I told you in the, that is the past, in the earlier days, so many chemicals was synthesized, due to which there are the hazardous effects nowadays. But what is the next role of the green chemistry? Green chemistry is a new way of looking at chemicals and their manufacturing processes. That means we should synthesize such chemicals which are not hazards, or due to which there is no waste material formation, or there is no pollution or any hazardous effects to the living world. And again, their manufacturing processes should have such that is mechanisms that due to which there is not formation of large amount of waste or pollution is there. Again, green chemistry is a new way of looking chemicals and their manufacturing processes to minimize any negative environmental effects. Yes, there must be such processes of chemical synthesis should be developed, due to which there is minimum negative environmental effects should be there. That means on environment there not hazardous effects will be formed after the synthesis or manufacturing of the chemical. So such chemicals we have to use into the daily life, or such chemicals we have to synthesize. Now next is, right now the green chemistry revolution. Now this is the green chemistry revolution. Now it begins or starts. Now there is the, right now the green chemistry revolution is beginning, and it is any exciting time with new challenges. Now this is the real exciting time to uh, uh, to accept the new challenges for chemistry involved with the discovery, manufacture and use of chemical. That means nowadays green chemistry is very that is the challenges subject or challenges, it is the role of the green chemistry, because nowadays we have to investigate such that is the chemicals which are eco-friendly, or there are no negative effects of such chemicals or their process of synthesis on the environment, and their use also, due to the use of the chemical also there is no that is the air pollution or any type of pollution should be there. Green chemistry helps to protect ozone layer in the stratosphere. We know that in the stratosphere, from that is the 16 kilometers from the earth, in the space there is the stratosphere, and in that stratosphere there is the ozone layer, the that is the gas ozone, and due to which the life, that is the in environment, that plant life and animal life get protected, because this ozone layer protects us from the, that is very having intensity of that light, that is the ultraviolet light, due to which there is direct effect on our skin, on eyes. And this green chemistry approach is that synthesize such chemicals which protects the ozone layer, because from the air conditioning, from the refrigerator, there are, that is evolution of such gases, due to which there are the holes will be holes was formed in the ozone layer. Now we have to discover such, that is the technology, due to which such hazardous gases or toxic gases does not get emitted from the that is different appliance, electrical appliance, and due to which there is the very eco-friendly relationship of that gases with that of the ozone layer. And so chemistry helps to green chemistry helps to protect the ozone layer in the stratosphere, essential for the survival of the life on the earth. And again, green chemistry is useful to control the greenhouse effect, that is the global warming. Nowadays, as day to day pass, the global warming problem is becomes very, that is the dangerous. There is the that is the summer, the temperature on the earth reaches up to 50 degrees centigrade also, and that is due to the global warming. And this global warming control or greenhouse effect control, due to the carbon dioxide or different poisonous gases, there is the trapping of the heat in the on the surface of the earth, that is the global warming. And this should be in green chemistry, green chemistry approach is that to, that is the prevention of the global warming, or to avoid the global warming. So we have to aim that save the environment and save our earth, and this is the role of the chemistry. Now let us learn about the nanochemistry. What is now? This is the green chemistry. Up to this, that is the 12 principles of the green chemistry and role of the green chemistry. What is green chemistry? We learn all this. Now let us learn the nanochemistry. Now let us learn about the nanochemistry or nanoscience. That is nanotechnology. It is also called as the nanotechnology. Now what is nanoscience? That is the, this is the new science, nanoscience. Nanoscience is the study of phenomena and manipulation, that is operates or handle of materials at atomic, molecular or macromolecular scale, where properties differ significantly from those at a larger scale. That means the material we are seeing around us is the macro material. They have the different macro properties. We know the macro property: pressure, temperature, volume, etc. But these macro properties are totally different from the properties of the nanomaterials. Nanomaterial or nanoscience operates or it manipulates on a, that is the atomic level or molecular level or macromolecular level. So what is nanoscience? Nanoscience is the study of phenomena and manipulation or operation of material or handling of the material at a atomic, molecular or macromolecular levels or scales, where their properties are different significantly. That means different totally from those at a larger scale. So this is the totally different technology, this nanoscience. Now let us learn about the nanoscience again, or take the information of nanoscience again. How do we define nanotechnology? That is the main question. How do we define the nanotechnology? Now we know that nanometer is 10, that is the 1 nanometer is equal to 10 raised to minus 9 meter. We know that this 1 nanometer is equal to 10 raised to minus 9 meter. Now this is very, that is the small, that is the measurement. Now that is nearly about, the nanometer is 1 billionth of the meter. 1 billionth of the meter. 10 raised to minus 9th meter. That means 1 billionth of the meter. Now in Greek, nano means dropped. Drop means very small. But nano is still smaller than the dropped also. So how do we define then nanotechnology? Nanotechnology is design, characterization, production and application. Now in the nanotechnology there is design, characterization, production and application of structures and systems by controlling the shape and size at nanometer scale. Now the shape and size is very important. The shape and size should be in nanometer scale. That is 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer scale. Then and then that material is nanomaterial. Now learn again. Nanotechnology is a design, characterization, production and application of structure, devices and systems by controlling their shape and size at a nanometer scale. Now, what is nano? The nanometer scale is defined as 1 to 100 nanometer. Now, nanometer scale is only about the 1 to 100 nanometer only. It is 1 nanometer is equal to 10 raised to minus 9 meter. So, nanomaterial ranges only in this range, that is the 1 to 100 nanometer. 1 nanometer is 1 billionth of the meter. That is 1 nanometer is equal to 10 raised to minus 9 meter. Very small size than the meter. 10 raised to minus 9 meter. 1 nanometer means. The material we see around us are bulk material. All are the bulk material around us that possess the macroscopic physical properties. Different physical properties are due to that microscopic properties that the material which are we seeing around us. But nanomaterial, it is the material whose size is in between 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer, possess unique optical, very unique optical, structural, thermal, catalytic, magnetic and electrical properties. All these properties are of the nanomaterial are totally different from the macro material. They are unique property of that nanomaterial, such as that is the about the its optical property, structural property, thermal property, catalytical property and magnetic property. Also the electrical properties are still unique of this nanomaterial. These property changes as the function of size. As the size changes, at as smaller and smaller size in the nanometer, this property again gets changes of this nanomaterial. And they are very different from the properties of the bulk material. Now, what is nanomaterial? Nanomaterial are larger than single atom. Remember that. Nanomaterial are somewhat larger than the size of the single atom, but they are smaller than bacteria and cells. Nanomaterials are still smaller than the bacteria and cell, but they are somewhat they are larger than the size of the single atom. The material having the structural components within at least one dimension in the nanometer scale is called as the nanomaterial. And nanometer scale means 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer. Now, where this nanotechnology is used? Now, from clothes, sunglasses you wear, that is the clothes and sunglasses you wear, to computer hand drives and even cleaning products. The nanotechnology play a big part in the manufacture of many materials. The sunglasses, the computer devices, the clothes or in textile, this nanotechnology is very advancedly used nowadays. It plays a very big important role. Nanotechnology plays a big part in the manufacture of many materials. We have learned using the laser in DVD. In CD players, there are the lasers. They are the nanomaterial. Now we have been using laser in DVD and CD players for a long time, which contain nano-sized components. Now these LCDs, now these DVDs, these CDs, which we are using for a long time, they contain the nanomaterial, nano components, nano-sized components. Now also observe another which depicts the material in nature as well as device that are man-made material. In both we have seen that is the like the some objects like the tennis ball and human hair we can see with our own eyes, whereas bacteria, virus, red blood cells we cannot observe with naked eyes, and these are known as the nanomaterial. Now the cells, red blood cell, viruses, bacteria, these are the nanomaterials. Very less size of that material is about 1 nanometer to 10 raised to minus nanometer. Now this is the material which fits in this dimension, or which have the structural components with at least one dimension in the nanometer scale, that is the 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer scale, is the nanomaterial. Now this is about the nanotechnology and nanomaterial. In the next lecture, I will tell you about the definition of nanochemistry, also that is the characteristic feature of the nano particles we will see later on. But you learn in this, that is the role of green chemistry, and what is the nanomaterial, what is the scale, nanometer scale, and what is the range of the nanomaterial or dimension of the nanomaterial. Then students, you like, share and subscribe this video, and tell the other 12 science students also to like and subscribe this, because this is very advanced technology, and the green chemistry is also very essential to adapt in our everyday life. Thank you.